What is up, guys? Mr. Constitution coming at you with another rant from the road. Today, we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be watching Joe Biden's press conference from yesterday in Delaware, I think, where he announces some new things coming down our way. I'm actually going to try showing you the whole conference with giving my commentary over it, his whole speech. So here we go. Let's give this a shot.
Let's have a seat if you have one.
President Biden, everyone.
Well, hello, Massachusetts. It's an honor to be with you, outstanding members of Congress today. Senator Ed Markey. Ed, there you go.
He just looks old.
Senator Elizabeth Warren,
doing the typical thing where we, hey, check out all my cool friends.
Congressman, and your great former members, and one of my dearest friends, John Kerry, is doing a great job.
Oh yeah, John Kerry, great job.
Special presidential envoy on climate, traveling the world and talking to an awful lot of people. He's talking into
once again, our president, everyone.
Gina McCarthy. Gina, there she is.
Mumbler!
My national climate advisor is leading our climate efforts here at home.
I mean, you can't deny it. Like, you look at him from like the 80s and 90s, even the early 2000s. Like, he was way sharper than this. He's always been a gaffe machine, but he's always like he sounds like he's slurring his words. He's not clear.
As president, I have a responsibility to act
with urgency and resolve
when our nation faces clear and present danger.
Clear and present danger.
That's
Tom
what
Clancy.
Climate change is about. It is literally, not figuratively, a clear and present danger.
Climate change is a clear and present danger.
Is literally at stake. The UN's leading international climate.
It's going to kill us in like 2 decades, but it's a clear and present danger.
Code red.
We're all going to die someday, but it's a clear and present danger.
Code red for humanity. Isn't that a group of political
code red? Yeah, like anyone trusts the UN. Oh yeah.
We see it here in America, in red states and blue states. Extreme weather events costing.
Oh, these are scientists, not politicians. They work for the UN, but they're not politicians.
$145 billion in damages just last year. More powerful and destructive hurricanes and tornadoes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, everything's getting worse.
Across America, it's amazing to see. Ravaging 100-year-old droughts occurring every few years instead of every 100 years. Wildfires out west that have burned and destroyed more than 5 million acres. Everything in its path.
That's not how droughts work. Droughts don't happen just over a year. Droughts take years to work through.
It's amazing.
1 year of poor rainfall does not a drought make. It's a series of years. We're experiencing it where I live.
Damaging our military installations here in the States.
The Colorado River is at historically low portions. But it's been going down for years, and it'll go up again.
Shortages for consumers and businesses. Climate change is literally an existential threat to our nation and to the world.
Okay.
So my message today is this: since Congress is not acting as it should, and these guys here are, but we're not getting many Republican votes. This is an emergency. And I will look at it that way. I said last week, and I'll say it again loud and clear. As president, I'll use my executive powers to combat the climate crisis in the absence of congressional action.
In the absence of congressional action. Okay. Well, congratulations, everyone. We now serve
my administration will announce
King Joe Biden as subjects.
To combat this emergency.
This is ridiculous. Look at this. One man
take a look around
who is who knows better than the people and their elected representatives what to do. He's going to make things happen. Come on. And seriously, do we really think Joe Biden knows what he's going to do?
As we speak. And by the way,
give me a break.
In the Antarctic, temperatures that are just unbelievable, melting the permafrost. It's astounding the damage that's being done. This crisis impacts
Look,
every aspect of everyday life.
even if you
That's why
concede
today I'm making the
that
largest investment
the
ever.
situation is dire,
$2.3
which I don't,
billion
but even if you
to help communities
do,
across the country build infrastructure
okay,
that's
even if
designed
you
to
do,
withstand the full range of disasters we've
the
been
West
seeing up to
doing all
today.
this climate
Extreme
stuff
heat, drought,
isn't
flooding,
gonna do a
hurricanes, tornadoes.
thing.
Right now,
Most
millions of
pollution
people
is
suffer
coming from
extreme
the
heat
third
at
world,
home.
from countries
My
like
team is
China
also working
and
in
India,
states to
who
deploy
are not going to
$385 million
not going to
right
saddle
now.
their own
For the first time,
economies.
states
They've
will be able
got
to
billions
use
of
federal
people to
funds
feed.
to pay for air conditioners in homes, set up community cooling centers in schools where people can.
This is actually something I think is a good idea. Instead of focusing on this, on trying to change our economy and trying to change our power grid, we need to be looking for technologies to help us adapt. If the climate is changing,
make them more energy efficient.
we need to be finding ways to adapt, not try to halt it.
And warm in the winter, and not using too much energy.
People,
My Department of Labor, led by a guy named Marty Walsh. He
who
talks
cares?
funny. He's a hell of a guy. But all kidding aside, Marty was a great mayor, and I know.
All kidding
I know
aside,
he knows how
you
to
were
get
kidding?
The job done, and he's doing two things for me.
Who writes
First
his
of all,
speeches?
Secretary of Labor. He's developing
ridiculous.
the first ever workplace standards for extreme heat.
Workplace standards for extreme heat.
You cannot
Department
do
of
the
Labor.
following. You cannot ask people.
Interesting. Where
Second,
exactly
he's sending folks out from
is
the Labor Department
the government
to make
empowered
sure
to
we
create
hold
this Department of
workplaces
Labor
and to those standards
in the
that are being set.
Constitution? Oh, it's not there?
We've already
Oh,
completed over
gotcha.
500 heat-related inspections of workplaces across 43 states. At the end of the day, it's going to save lives. Now, let me tell
And
you
how many
why
lives
we're
are your
here.
policies going to end?
5 years ago,
People
this
are
towering
starving
power
because of
plant
your
that once
economic
stood
policies.
with cooling towers 500 feet high closed down. The coal plant at Brayton Point was the largest of its kind in New England.
Food costs have gone up like
1,500
crazy
megawatts of power.
because we're not producing
Enough to power 1 in
diesel
5
fuel
Massachusetts
at
homes
enough
and businesses.
capacity,
For over 50 years, this
so
plant
truckers are
supported
having to
this region's
not
economy
drive.
through
This is driving up the cost of
electricity
goods.
they supplied, the good jobs they provided, and the local taxes they paid. But the plant, like many others around the country, had another legacy.
Okay, so now we're going into
Toxic,
just a bunch of grandstanding.
Greenhouse gas emissions, the kind of pollution that contributed to the climate emergency we now face today. Gina McCarthy, a former regulator in Massachusetts,
Look, I'm all for
was telling
cleaning
me
up
on
the
way out,
environment.
how folks used to get a
I
rag
live
out
here,
and
so
wipe the gunk
I kind of
off
like
their
breathing
car's
clean air,
windshield
drinking
in the
clean
morning
water,
just to be able to
having
drive.
clean land. I'm
Not
all
very
for
much
this. I
unlike
like
where
the
I grew up,
planet.
a place called
I'm
Clean
down
Lake,
for doing
Delaware,
what we need to
which
do,
has
what we can
more
to
oil
conserve
refineries
it.
than Houston, Texas has
But
in its region,
I also
just
like
across the
people,
line.
and I think
That's
people
amazing.
should be able to
All
live
the
and
prevailing
eat
winds are our way.
and
I
go
just
about
lived
their
up the
lives
road.
with as little hindrance
I
from the
lived in an
government.
apartment complex when we moved to Delaware, and just up the road to a little school I went to, Holy Rosary Grade School. And because
Back
it
in the
was a
Stone Age,
4-lane
Joe?
highway that was accessible, my mother drove us. And
Seriously,
rather
we
than
need to stop
us
electing
able to
these old
walk.
peoples. This goes for
Guess
Trump too.
what?
Trump is ancient.
The first
You know, he might be a little. He's a little more relevant than Joe Biden, but you know, he's more up on the times. He seems like he can handle himself pretty well as far as operating in a modern society. But these people don't know. They don't know what life is really like.
But that's the past.
We need to stop
We're gonna
electing
we're gonna build
these
a different
people.
future.
Our elites are out of control,
One with clean energy, good paying jobs.
and they'll stay out of control
Just
for as
15
long
years
as
ago,
we
America
keep
generated more than
doing
half
what
its
we're doing.
electricity from coal-fired plants. Today, that's down to 20% because there's a big transition happening. Many of these fossil fuel plants are becoming sites for new clean energy construction. Others are switching to new clean technology.
New clean
Look
energy.
at Brayton Point. Today, Brayton is one of the frontiers.
The problem with
on
this
the
clean energy
frontier
stuff is it's
clean
an attempt to
energy in
get
America.
something for nothing.
On this
We
site,
try to get all
they'll
this energy
manufacture
and not
248 miles of
have to
high-tech,
pay for anything.
heavy-duty
Solar,
cable.
wind,
Those
all this stuff.
specialized
There ain't no
subsea
free
cables
lunch.
necessary
Studies are showing
by
that
offshore wind
all this clean
farms
energy
with
stuff is
existing
destroying
grid.
wildlife.
Manufacturing
Birds'
these cables
migratory
will mean good
patterns
paid
are being
jobs for
devastated by all these wind
250
farms.
workers, as many workers at the old power plant had
Solar
at its peak. And the
energy takes up large amounts of land.
port here, 34 feet deep, was used to carry
34
coal
feet
to the
deep.
power plant. Now we're going to use that same port to carry components for wind power into the sea. The converter station here and the substation nearby are the assets that move energy across the power lines. They'll now move clean electricity generated offshore by the wind. Enough power to power hundreds of thousands of homes onto the grid.
Hundreds of thousands of homes powered by this new offshore drilling.
This didn't happen by
or
accident.
a new offshore wind farm.
Because we believed and invested in America's innovation and ingenuity. One of the companies invested.
America is ingenious. We have a lot of ingenuity.
Vineyard Winds.
But it works best when we do it for ourselves and not at the direction of the government. Like Ronald Reagan said, the people of this nation are better at figuring out what to do and how to do their lives than by government control and government direction.
Which is being constructed by Vineyard Winds. Folks, elsewhere in the country, we are ensuring that even where fossil fuel plants retires, they still have a role in powering the future.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Illinois, for example, the state has launched a broad effort to invest in converting old power plants to solar farms, led by Governor Pritzker.
Solar farms. Solar farms that take up huge amounts of land.
Former oil plant of the world's largest battery storage facility.
How much wildlife is being destroyed by these solar
In
farms?
Wyoming, innovators are chosen to retiree plan as the next site for the next generation nuclear plant.
See, I'm for nuclear. I think we should be focusing on nuclear. It's incredibly efficient and can generate tons of power with very little waste. A lot of people get anxious and nervous about nuclear waste, but it's a lot easier to deal with than waste products from Tesla, from batteries, from the solar farms, the wind turbines, all this stuff. This stuff breaks down, and we have no place to put all this junk.
Wyoming to New Mexico. Through the infrastructure law, we're investing in clean hydrogen.
These solar panels don't last forever. They've got a lifespan of like 10 years, and then they have to be replaced.
We've secured $16 billion to clean up abandoned mines and wells, protecting thousands of communities from toxic.
That's cool. I'm happy with cleaning up environmental disasters. This is a good thing.
And we're going to seal leaking methane pollution, an incredibly powered greenhouse gas that's 40 times more dangerous
This makes
to
sense.
the environment than carbon.
The problem I have is when we start trying to regulate the economy in order to fix this climate problem.
Back on climate,
We're not smart enough to do this. We don't know what the long-term consequences are going to be. We didn't know that what we were doing with all this carbon emissions. If what's happening is happening, if what they say is happening is true, we didn't have the foresight to see how these measures could affect the environment. But now we have the foresight to know what exactly these measures are going to do. Come on.
Even more and better jobs. We have to revitalize communities, especially those fence line communities.
We can't trust in the smart people to fix the problem. That's not how this works. That's not how America works.
Make these technologies here in the United States.
Individuals making choices on their own individual life is what will help us get where we need to get. And making the best choices for your family is what will help get your family where you need to be and help all the rest of us get where we need to
going
be.
up off the coast of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, with ground broken and work underway. Jobs manufacturing 2,500 ton steel foundations that anchor these offshore wind farms to the sea floor. Jobs
created by the government and that can disappear just as quickly.
To service these offshore wind farms. We're going to make sure that the ocean is open for the clean energy of our future, and everything we can do give a green light to wind power on the Atlantic coast where my predecessors' actions only created confusion. And today, we began the process to develop wind power in the Gulf of Mexico as well for the first time.
Oh,
real opportunity to power millions of
opportunity
homes from wind. Let's clear the
millions
way.
of homes powered from wind
and connect these projects to the grid. I've directed my administration to clear every federal hurdle. How much did these solar companies pay to Joe's election campaign? I wonder. And while so many governors and mayors have been strong partners in this fight to tackle climate change, we need all governors and mayors. We need public utility commissioners and state agency heads. We need electric utilities and developers to stand up and be part of the solution.
Yeah, don't you know? Be part of the solution, bigot.
We all have a duty right now to our economy, to our competitiveness in the world.
To our economy. You don't care about the economy, Joe.
And to future generations. That sounds like hyperbole, but it's not.
If you did, you wouldn't have cut off the Keystone Pipeline so that we would have actual gas flowing into our economy. And we wouldn't be paying almost $5 a gallon, $8 a gallon in parts of the country for a gallon of gas. You don't care about the economy. You care about your agenda. You care about the clean, all this green crap. And you don't care about the human damage, the damage you're doing to average families.
Proclamations, executive orders, and regulatory power that the president possesses. When it comes to fighting climate change, I will not take no for an answer.
I will not take no for an answer.
To clean our air and water.
And some things that aren't.
Health, to win the clean energy future. This, again, sounds like hyperbole. Our children and grandchildren are counting on us. Not a joke. Not a joke. If we don't keep it below 1.5 degrees centigrade, we lose it all.
You're right, it's not a joke, Joe, but you are. Boom! Oh!
Counting on us. This is the United States of America. When we put our hearts and minds to it,
are you sure? Do you know where you are, Joe?
Beyond our capacity. I mean it. When we act together, and of all things, we should be acting together.
Yeah, if we act together, but I'm going to ignore the will of Congress. If we act together, but I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Say, Joey, at everything bad, something good will come if you look hard enough. Look what's happening. We're going to be able to create as many or more good-paying jobs. We're going to make environments where people live safer. We're going to make the air safer. I really mean it. We have an opportunity here. I'll bet you when you see what's happened here in this cable construction, manufacturing, and you go back and ask all the people who grew up in this beautiful place, what they'd rather
Joe,
have.
look around. Look, grew up in this beautiful place. Look behind you, Joe. Is that a landfill?
Or
looks like a landfill. Come on.
I would be dumbfounded if you find anybody other than for pure sentimental reasons saying, I'd rather have a coal plant. I'll end by telling you another quick story.
Oh, a quick story from Uncle Joe.
Moved from Scranton, when coal died in Scranton. Everything died in Scranton.
Everything died in Scranton.
And my dad wasn't a coal miner. My great-grandfather was a mining engineer. But my dad was in sales, and there was no work. So we left to go down to Delaware. I told you.
Didn't know they had
oil plants were.
Mining engineers in the Bronze Age.
Driving home when you take the trolley in Scranton, going out North Washington and Adams Avenues. Within 15 blocks, we didn't live in the neighborhood, the most prestigious neighborhood in the region.
The most prestigious neighborhood
in the town region, where the Scrantons and other good, decent people live.
We didn't live there, but we...
There was you'd go by a wall that my recollection is was somewhere between 15 and 18 feet tall. And it went for essentially a city block. And you could see the coal piled up to the very top of the wall from inside. It was a coal-fired plant. A coal-fired plant.
Coal-fired plant.
And all of the negative impacts of breathing that coal, the dust, were affecting everybody. But at the time, people didn't know it, and there wasn't any alternative. Folks, we have no excuse now. We know it.
He took off his sunglasses, so he's for serious this time. No excuses. We can make things better. I agree completely. Why don't you let the government? Why don't you let the people do what they want to do? Why don't you let the people do what they need to do to make their lives better, Joe?
May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
And there we have it. Oh, hey, here's gonna come shake some hands. Oh my gosh. All right, that's enough of that. So there it is. Joe Biden's big speech on climate change and announcing that he's going to announce things that he's going to, executive orders, I'm assuming, to get his way done if Congress isn't willing to do it. This is a problem. The president's powers are enumerated by the Constitution, and they don't include getting to just dictate how things work. That's not a thing. Congress is the largest and most important branch of our government, the most powerful. But Congress has really delegated so much of its power to the executive branch in the administrative state. That's why we have the EPA. That's why we have the Department of Labor. That's why we have all of these myriad federal bureaucracies, the administrative state, that basically run our lives. And most of us have no idea what they are or who they are. They're unaccountable to the people. These were all created, most of them were created in the early 20th century under FDR and Woodrow Wilson, when everyone thought, maybe we're not sure this whole republic thing is actually the best. Maybe let's stop trusting our elected officials to run our nation and start trusting the experts. Well, when you trust the experts, you end up with things like this. A top-down controlled economy where the government can literally tell you what light bulbs you can put in your house. Pretty ridiculous. So what do? We got to start electing people to Congress that will start taking power away from the executive branch. We have to destroy the administrative state because it's killing us. Our legislators have been lazy. We let them just give away their power to the executive branch, and now we are in some serious trouble because the federal branch, the feds, the executive branch pretty much runs our lives. So, vote for people who understand and want to respect the Constitution, want to get rid of all this federal bureaucracy, and let us live our lives. Or, don't, and we can just keep doing what we're doing. Remember, people, we have the government we deserve. So if we want a better government, we need to improve ourselves. That's it. Thanks. If you like what you heard here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to get notifications when I post new content. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.